right, let me start off like this. This is amazing, for real. Like, seriously. Clap it up, really. Clap it up. The reason why I'm so excited is because, literally, while we're here today, right, I need y'all to do one thing. The biggest thing I need y'all to do. Y'all gotta take away one thing. And here's the catch, though. If you don't take away one thing, you gotta give one thing.
Yeah.
All right, so don't leave and be like, oh man, I went there, they started late, I didn't get this, what in the world I need? Oh, it's a pre-event, first of all, right? Like, for real. But secondly, you need to leave with, if you didn't get nothing, you need to be giving somebody something.
Yeah.
Because what I'm about to share with y'all today, and whether the guests we have about to share, it's gonna blow your mind, but I'm telling you, you gotta open up, you have to have the willing spirit. You gotta be looking for that one thing you're gonna get, it's gonna change your life. Because guess what? Y'all are here right now. Listen. No applause right now. There's people right here that we know, family members we know is not seeing 2019.
That's right.
They ain't seeing 2019, they ain't never coming back. We got people right now that are dealing with stuff. They got family members in comas, family members ain't gonna see today. So when we here right now, before we leave, we gotta make sure we soak up every single second, and we're gonna take or give at least one thing, because everybody ain't gonna be here. People we know, and I just want to say that before we even start to get energy right. I know y'all, it's getting deep. Well, shoot, that's my podcast. We deep with it. But I'm serious now, because I know there's some people in here that's dealing with some stuff. When they leave, they're going to be like, dang, this was cool. But dang, my uncle ain't going to make it. Or my grandma this, or something like that. So I need y'all, while y'all here, y'all need to leave that somewhere else. Y'all need to be present in this space. And I want to say a couple things to this. The reason why this event is so big and why I'm so excited right now, it's because, let's take it back. 2017, around this time, about 2 days before, me, Daryl, my homegirl, Joanna Smith, we live, shout out Joanna Smith, we was in the Bahamas, right? And D could tell my energy was just off in the Bahamas a little bit. I was excited, and this is like one of the biggest speaking gigs in my life. Like, I went to Bahamas, I got $4,000, and we only ended up doing like 15 minutes of stuff. It was crazy. So on the outside as a speaker, you're like, this is it. This is it. You going to the Bahamas, you getting paid like big bread, right? And I was like, what in the world? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I had no aim. I had a conference that I was working on, and things, and in my spirit, I knew that, you've been down this road before. People that know me from the back, you've been down this road before with Join Me Entertainment. Putting a lot on your shoulders, trying to do it. You know you're not ready to put on a conference. You're not ready to do that right now. But I was like, as an entrepreneur, as a hustler, first and foremost, that's what people that really know me, like, hey, Dave, my boy Mike, we was getting Kiera, Tia, we was getting out with the little Gatorade boys, right? So back in the day, I was like, we're just gonna put money on, we're gonna make it work. But everything don't work like that. So I came back, and I had to cancel my conference, doing some light stuff and everything, and I was like, this is the biggest thing. I work with Aisha, the DP, Durham Convention Center. I was like, we really gonna do it. Like, we booked out the convention, we put the deposit down, put $3,000 down, we really gonna do it. And then it's all gone. And then I took it so personal. I was like, I closed up, I was like, I could not deliver. I had all this up in my own head, and I shut off for like 4 months. 4 months, because the crazy thing about it, I'm so excited to bring it up a little bit, is because we sold out this event, and if y'all look on Instagram, the last year I only made 2 Instagram posts. Outside of LinkedIn, like, I'm not out here, I'm not trying to get followers or anything like that. But when you really delve deep in relationships, and we're gonna get in there, if you delve deep in who you are and give to people, it don't matter what you do for the most part. There's some caveats, because I don't like to speak in all of there's some other stuff. But people gonna show up and show out and support you. So clap it up for that. And also the reason why I get excited too is because, on the low, we really almost at 1 million downloads, right? And catch this. 4 years ago, we just started off with an $80 mic, a computer, and we said, we just gonna do it. We had no name, no buzz. We said we just gonna do it. So that's to get some of y'all excited. I'm gonna throw more dirt on this, right? This whole year, these last 4 months have been the most transformative months of my life. Like, for real. Like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna keep it 100. We about to probably, what we did last year financially, we're gonna times 15 it, right? We did all this. And with the support of everybody, we're gonna get to that really, because I love it. The reason why I speak like this, because I'm a realist. There's people in this audience I'm gonna point out that show so much favor, so much love in order to get to this point. But we did all this, and I'm a 29-year-old man, right? This whole time, this last year and a half, I ain't had no car. 100. We ain't had no car. We had people in this audience gonna be here. They gave me rides almost every single day. Never asked for me, never complained. They believed in me. They believed in me. And I didn't say, oh, I don't have a car right now. Well, I'm just gonna not post on Instagram. I'm gonna be low to the streets. We just got to work. And people believed in me. And when I was down, they was how they just gave me energy. They gave me energy. They kept believing. And still to this day, like Deontay Wilder said, to this day. Seriously. I say this humbly. But in this game right here, going forward, ain't nobody here with it. Seriously, I say that, I'm seeing the mic right here. There's nobody here with it. I say that humbly because guess what? I realized my resources are all in this building. I want to say something real quick and then we just gonna get on the show. Like, Janice, April, my sister, reached out to her last night, was like, yo, GregEHill DJ. She jumped on and said, I got it. Terry was gonna be there and said, yo, I need some sound. I got it. Mike, I called him 20, he got a full-time job. And that's gonna be my marketing manager for all Minority Trailblazer stuff, Sid and co-lead of Minority Trailblazer Nation podcast. We'll get to that in a second. But I called Mike 15 minutes before 10 a.m. to redesign my logo so we can get on the banner. He did it, boom, did it, and then he's back there. All resources in-house. I called him and said, need a banner. He got it shipped next day. What else? There's so much stuff that people in this room this year took everything to the next level, because that's the gap between this version of me and 2018. 2018, 2017-ish, I was like, yo, we need to beef up the brand. We need to connect with people. We need all this other stuff. And I realized, no, we don't need to do none of that to be real. The people are already in. The people are already in network. I hear all the time people say, nobody support what I'm doing. If you ask people really, not ask people support. Have you sat down and talked with me, how can they support you? Like, how can it? Because sometimes we think it's important, just money, but it's people with so much talent, resources, connection. We don't even look out and be like, what can we do? And the first thing we say is like, yo, why ain't nobody helping us back? We put all these Facebook statuses up, new entrepreneurs, black people support black people. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And that's why I'm glad, because the people that's here, black people support them. Like, I'm so proud of Dez. Like, I remember, I said this in Charlotte. Dez, 4-5 years ago, I got the video. We was in like a box inside that. All hot, working, just him, and then now, this is on his like second or third facility. Third facility, paid it in cash, and got the city rocking on the Lizzo. And I'm so excited here, but there's one thing I want to tell y'all, before we jump into this thing and I introduce my guest. And I did spell that wrong. And I'm gonna be real, I just practice on execution. I don't care about perfection. I'm gonna be real, I don't care about perfection. Because I was like, Jay was like, yo, change it. I was like, what's gonna change? Because we got some deep people in here. And I know if I didn't address it, y'all would be like, but it is what it is, because I'm gonna be honest, and this is live, but hopefully they ain't watching. But yo, we just signed a deal. Our first 5-figure deal to do one event, Minority Trailblazer Live, on a college campus. And yo, nothing was perfect. Websites weren't perfect. Life wasn't perfect. Life was happening. And we didn't use that as an excuse. We didn't use that not to go hard. We didn't use that to think like, okay, no. We kept going. And I say all that to say, the mission is too great. That's it. That's the thing. If y'all leave anywhere, if y'all leave this thing like, I don't know what it is, somebody asks you, what you get from that? The mission is too great. So right now, before we begin, before I introduce our first guest, we talking about relationships, our first guest. Before I need y'all to say, the mission is too great. And when I say that, I'm talking about, and I said it this morning, and Justin was here with me. We running a mile. I'm running like, because y'all know I'm a runner. I'm running. I have my 7:30 pace, and I'm telling y'all, boom, and I just fell quickly. And then where Jay at? Did we stop? No. This is a broken, not a stop. Why is we never stop? Hey, y'all let me hang, boy. And some of y'all gave me the face like, where's he going with that? Hey, y'all gotta listen to more Drake in your life. But seriously, like, when anything right now, as you leave this room, there's gonna be some stuff that you can be like, yo, this is, they said a lot of stuff, but I'm not ready to do that just yet. They were talking about changing your mindset. They were talking about business principles. I'm not ready to do that yet. No, you gotta say the mission is too great. Because the reason why we say that a lot, and somebody had to call me out on this year. 4 months in, before my mindset changed, before my life changed this year, I was down and out. They looked me in my eyes and I said, yo, I'm down and out. I thought he was gonna say something like, to keep me up, he said, Greg, you know what stuff to do that I've been in my life. I was like, yo, I'm on the verge, like, I don't wanna be here no more. You gonna tell me that? They was like, yo, if you look around, the people first of all, the vision and value that God has given you to enable everybody in their life, you cut that off. That could have been somebody else's blessing. But you cut that off because your ego was in a point where you couldn't ask for help. You wasn't on that tip. You was on you. When you on you, you lose because it's not you. And your gift right now, that's what I'm telling y'all right now, your gift, everybody in here is a genius and has a genius level gift. When Daryl asked, okay, what did you dominate that shit? Y'all should have been like, I dominated something. Because y'all did, every single person. I don't care if it's your worst year financially, I don't care if you got a divorce, everybody in here dominated something because they're still here. So let's keep that same energy. Let's keep that energy because I gotta be right here. I love Michelle Obama. But a lot of y'all here don't know Michelle Obama. And y'all ride with them so much. We ride with them. We got friendlies. I had my dad from home. My dad wouldn't leave my friend on Facebook. Like, there's people I support, people I give a chance after chance. And there's people in my life that do one mistake and we cut them off. We just leave them. And not to say everybody needs grace, because that's a whole other concept. I'm not saying that because we go to a whole different place. A lot of stuff happens in the media, so don't quote me on that. I'm not saying that grace message. But what I am saying is the people that we really call friends. And that's why I'm glad we're talking about relationships in the second piece. Because relationships is not on no how to get a man, we ain't on that. I don't got that type of gear. We're not on that. But the relationship piece is so important, and I say that 110%. The relationship piece is so important. Because every single goal that we have, even those that are successful right now, because a lot of times people come to these things, they're like, I'm already successful right now, so I'm just here to give advice, to talk, and stuff like that, and everybody gonna ask me questions. No. Everybody here is gonna get something from this. But the relationships we have right now, we treat them the right way. We treat them the right way, regardless of what's going on. In 5 years, I met a Jay about 4 or 5 years ago, 2014, all black high school, I went to go talk. He the only guy who reached out, and we still talk to this day, right? And there's so many people in this room, I can't shout everybody out when we go crazy. My student, Josh Sear, got the Minority Trailblazer hoodie on to this day, show up and show out. And his sister, and I taught her sister too. And you're doing your thing too. Everybody get love. But I'm serious, right? Relationships are so key. So without further ado, the first person I want to introduce my pastor. And I'll tell you, when I say my pastor, don't get it twisted. He ain't gonna get in the mic and start saying, hey, well, everybody turn to John 13:33. I ain't made that type of deal. I didn't bring y'all here like that, because I already see some of y'all supposed to grab your little purse. Like, we ain't on that, right? But the reason why I respect him so much, because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people in this religious space, because there's some real questions need to be asked people in the religious space nowadays, right? We access to a lot of information and stuff like that. He never shies away from having those conversations, even when he doesn't know the answer. He never shays away from that, but most importantly, I always lean to him as a man level as far as relationships, because I looked at the panel when people had speaking, I realized, like, before, outside of Bernicia, nobody had like multiple kids, and I said, dang, I'm getting kind of old. I need to make sure that people that I interview reflect what's really going on. People really have kids. People really are married. People really are judging a lot of stuff. So I can't just have people that just drop everything and start a job. No, because that's not what the Minority Trailblazer is about. I'm gonna be honest. If y'all thought we were gonna come here and just give y'all straight bits how to blow up your business, we don't really got that gear. Because the biggest thing as we transition, matter of fact, he's going to address and share a story. So clap it up for Ho. Clap it up for Ho. I can't really read his bio because it's so long and robust. But this dude right here, I feel like he's like the modern day. He's going to go into modern day MLK. Like the way they're going. Like seriously, not on those tips. Like, oh, my preacher, I'm going to gas him up. No, like seriously. This man's going to drop some values, drop some bombs. So pleasure to have you. You can sit down. I'm going to introduce my next guest. And my next guest is a young lady I was connected with by Daryl, Bernicia, and man, she is very powerful. She has her own company, works with Charlotte on a lot of different areas, does pageants, has her own company, has nonprofits, and she raises her child. She's just dynamic. I really can't do her justice. And she came on my podcast, episode went crazy, and I said, we had like an hour and a half conversation. Y'all know, as you can tell, I'm a rapper. You get me on the phone, I rap, right? That's why some of y'all laugh in my face when I called you. Y'all had to decline and just text me, right? I'm like, dang, I thought it was up there. I thought when you see GEHill, you just go answer. But I ain't there yet. Like, one day. But Bernicia, like, she really amplifies what a Minority Trailblazer is. So I just want to bring her on. They're going to tell their own story. I got a couple questions. And in the next 30 minutes, we're going to rock out talking about relationships. So Bernicia, when you're at, oh my God, I'm ready to dress too. Clap it up for Bernicia, right? And you got another mic with the sound? We got another mic time? Which one? And I'll just talk loud so we can do it. Go right here. And one of the first things I just want y'all to do for the audience is just share with the audience who you are and just a little bit about yourself, and then we're just going to jump right in. And the way we're going to operate this thing is half of it is going to be like conversational, but then the other half, there's going to be some questions that I ask or they ask. This audience is going to get involved in it. So, and the audience is not going to ask questions. If you want to jump in and say something, you can, but I just caution you, please, please don't get on the mic and start going left. Because I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to have to cut it. All right, please. I done been to so many, and it just get real left right here. So let's clap it up, get the energy high, get the energy high, Take us away, B.
All right, so my name is Renisha Crawford. I'm from Gastonia, North Carolina, born and raised. How much do you want to know?
Just a minute full.
Minute full, okay. So I have my master's degree in leadership, and I currently operate 3 businesses. The first is a for-profit company where I help organizations serve the youth that they serve, maximize their impact. So I work with a lot of police departments, getting kids who are first-time offenders. I get their charges dropped and expunged after they go through my training programs. My second organization is my nonprofit, which is called the Miss All Natural Pageant. And this is a summer program for young ladies in high school and in college. And I take them through 12 weeks of workshops. At the end, they compete for $2,500, a scholarship for college. But the way they compete, they have to compete wearing no makeup, no weed, no body shapers, no fake nails, nothing. Like as you see me today, that's how they show up to compete. The third is my coaching business. I'm a certified life coach, and I just launched this whole platform where I'm beginning to help coach people through failure, because I've failed 1,000,000 times in my little short life, and so I think that we focus too much on the successes and not the failures that it took to get to the success that we have.
Before you pass that mic, you know this is how I do on my shows. What was your biggest failure that you care to share from last year, 2018? You already know, that's what I do.
Well, that's what I'm saying here. My biggest failure was failure in relationships. I didn't spend enough time trying to establish new ones, and I also didn't try to strengthen the ones that I had.
And we're going to talk in deep on my practices on how to strengthen, because go ahead. Yeah.
All right. My name is Orlander Thomas. Once again, as Greg said, I am assistant pastor at Southside Church of Christ here in Durham, North Carolina. Amen. And I got to do my amen. Also, I am married to beautiful Brittany Thomas. My queen is here too. She's back this She's a Catholic girl from Los Angeles, and we have 3 beautiful children. Amen. I'm Orlander rightly. I'm also a full-time student at Duke Divinity School, where I'm currently in my 3rd year working on my Master's of Divinity. Also for a Master's of MBA, and also a Master's of Arts in Ministerial Leadership. And so just trying to do some good stuff, trying to make the church relevant again, and do it in a very relevant way. So I'm just excited to be a part of this podcast.
No, let's jump right into it. What does the word relationship mean to you?
The word relationship, what it means to me is a mutual agreement between 2 or more parties. But if I want to get deep, it's also a mutual agreement between the self that everybody else sees and the self that only you know. And I'm going to leave it there because I can keep going.
No, keep going a little bit.
With the latter, okay. So a lot of times when we talk about relationships, it's always external. We never sit and talk about the relationships that we have with ourselves. And everything starts there. You know, I can't build a relationship with Greg if I haven't built a relationship with myself. I can expect Greg to do something for me if I won't do it for myself. I can't expect Greg to understand me if I'm not able to understand myself. So I think when it comes to relationships, the very first thing I think about is the interpersonal development and the process that it takes to really feel whole on the inside. Because if I can have a great, strong relationship within myself, I'll be a great, I'll only be able to establish strong relationships with other people.
And I'll just piggyback on that, amen. I think we'll do it that way. You're probably the expert, I'm just going to come on the back end. But, and as you said, I think relationship deals with connection, right? So in a relationship, it implies there's some type of connection. However, I would even push it to say that I think that not all relationships are mutually beneficial. There are some relationships that are healthy relationships that are mutually beneficial. Where they're symbiotic in a sense, where there's a mutual benefit, where there's not only a giving, but there's also a receiving. And then also I think there's also unhealthy relationships that are really parasitic, right? Where you got people who always pull away, always want what you give and not necessarily what you got to offer as well. So I think that it is dealing with that connection, and it's mutually beneficial in a healthy context, but it can very well be also unhealthy, because all of us know we've had unhealthy relationships that we still remain connected to, even when the person in the relationship has already left it. And so that's the idea of this.
And to stay in that pocket real quick, one, y'all can figure out which one, y'all can hit it both on the head. What is some typical strategies that you use to work with relationships that you know are unhealthy? Because I mean, there's a two-way street with that. Then also, two, what strategy you use to cultivate and continue to grow relationships that are healthy? Because one thing we think that we're cool with somebody, the relationship is good, but then if we're not intentionally growing it, it's like even with my parents. And I talk to my brother Dave all the time, and I always, I love how he's connected and growing with his mother. We're Mama Ghana, baby, Kathy, got to subscribe. And I realized now approaching 30 years old, even at 29, when I was 20 years old, my relationship with my mom at 18, I never intentionally grew that. So now at 29, I'm still now working towards what is my relationship now when I'm older? And I think that's one thing that people that can come, they can talk about all the time, but I have to be intentional about that. Because now there's conversations that I want to have, I don't have, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know why my relationship's not like that. It's because I haven't intentionally put some time in and actually grow that. Because I think we good. And your boys, you think, oh, we good. But people have grown, people have changed. And when we good anymore, when you're 21, ain't the same we good when you're 29. So I want y'all to talk about, and y'all can either piggyback or however y'all want to do it. What do we do with those, or what do you do rather, relationships that you know are cancerous, but also two, how do you want to continue to grow relationships that you feel are mutually beneficial?
Bernice said something earlier when she talked about this idea of dealing with yourself first. And I think before you can grow and cultivate a healthy relationship, as you said, and I'm kind of really just stealing it from you, right? But I think you really have to work on yourself, right? It comes first. How can you be how can you have a good connection with someone else if first of all you don't have a good connection with who you are, right? So I think that you have to have a healthy view of yourself, right? You got to deal with yourself personally before you can really be a benefit to somebody else, or even a benefit to somebody else, right? And so I think that's where I would start. And it's about being intentional, right? It's about seeing yourself, not so much defining who you are through how other people see you. You know, and I think that's really key. There's a scripture I like, and it's the story of this woman who has a disabling spirit. Luke 13. Is that all right? Yeah. And she is in a position where she's bent over for 18 years. Jesus comes along. He says, "I see you," and then he tells her, "You'll be made well. You're gonna be released," right? And at that moment, she doesn't start walking in that uprightness, right? He's already set her free. He didn't touch her. He didn't have to do anything. He just said, "Hey, you're set free." And it's because, number one, he sees her. And I think sometimes we put a lot of value in who we are based upon how other people view us. But at half the time, other folks just sometimes may not see you because you may not be carrying or putting out what they want, right? That's number one. Number two, I think when he says, you know, you're set free, she still walks over bed, right? And then eventually, she doesn't stand straight up. And I think that's really interesting to me because I think, for me, sometimes, even when we've already been set free, we're still looking for the validation from other people before we can walk in our level of freedom. And I think that sometimes you need to understand, when you've been set free, you need to walk in it, regardless of what the world or people around you do. And I think that that's helpful, right? To deal with the self first before you can actually be a benefit to somebody else.
And before you pass the mic, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're going to talk to me after about this. But specifically, as you preach, and as a preacher, it's really, how do you deal with internally self-improvement? Because ideally, you see a congregation, you're supposed to be perfect. And people hold you to a perfect standard, but how do you work on yourself and still profess this to anybody else? As all our leaders in here, you lead people, but we all have flaws. And sometimes you have to think, okay, and sometimes I used to battle my head, like, how can I lead somebody? I'm more than a speaker, but I got big flaws. So how do I still provide that same face, but not be fake though? I can't do that. So that's why I usually withdraw, because I'm like, if I'm not leading by my example, people don't even see me out here. I'm not going to be like, hey, I want a vacation, but I realize I just did some bad business. I did also wrong. I can't do that. But you can do the worst thing ever, but every single Sunday you still got to go on that thing. And as leaders, we got to make sure, even though we still room for growth in our own lives, we still got to show up. We can't retreat. Because I know I personally retreat a lot and I'm working on that. But as we go into 2019, I want to make sure everybody in here, because everybody in here is a trailblazer and right. When they're not loved, when they're not held to their own standard, how can they continue to push and show a brave face?
Yeah, well, I think that's a myth. I think it's a myth that you got to be perfect. Nobody is, right? And so I try not to even create that. Matter of fact, I try to create the opposite. And so I lead with this idea of, hey, y'all ain't perfect. Matter of fact, and I'm glad, because you're not perfect either. And that's number one. Number two, I think that we learn even in life that none of your success comes without a limp. You know, I mean, you don't get to be on the top of the world and not have scars and scratches, right? You don't have, I mean, you have moments like, so I think that there's more power in my limp than it is in my ability to be perfect or to sell to the people that I'm perfect. You know, because there's somebody else who's limping too. And they need to know that you can still do this even though you got these other issues that you do. And so I think you got to be honest, you know, and be honest with who you really are and create that atmosphere.
Create that atmosphere.
What was the question?
So you talked about dealing with maybe bad relationships, but now is how you can cultivate the good relationships. I know you said you lacked in the area last year, but this year, what's your mindset on the friendships that you had? But also, too, what about the friends that you're around you? They're not necessarily taking away, but what do you do with people that are not taking away, but they're not adding?
Well, I'm going to start with the second portion and then go to that. I think it's 100% extremely important for you to understand what makes a relationship unhealthy to you. Okay, because that word unhealthy and healthy could be different things for different people. So you need to understand what makes a relationship unhealthy. Because once you can identify an unhealthy relationship, you'll know when you're in one, or you know when you have one. And the only way that you'll know what that is if you spend the time to have these conversations with yourself and self-reflect. I'm a huge advocate of self-reflection. Asking yourself these questions, not necessarily having a conversation with someone else, because when we have conversations with other people, what we don't realize is happening is that their wisdom or their opinions is somewhat slowly being imparted on ours, and we're slightly changing how we actually really feel. So you need to have these conversations with yourself, no one else. Spend that time. And if you can't or refuse or won't spend that time with yourself, why would anybody else want to do it? So that's first and foremost. Establish what makes a unhealthy relationship to you. And when it comes to expanding on the relationships that you do have, I think what's really important is, one, what's the value? Okay, what do you value in the relationships that you do consider healthy? And whatever it is that you value, maximize that, grow that. So for me, I love knowledge. You know, if you send me an article, if you send me some encouragement, I'm on Grace Little Text. If you send me some quotes, oh, I'm sorry.
That's a word.
Okay, anyway, but if you send me like an article, a video, a book, or something, that is of value to me. We are going to have a healthy relationship because you're feeding what it is that I need in a relationship. But it's my job to understand what's healthy for you, so that way I can feed that as well. This goes for romantic, personal, spiritual, whatever. So the words healthy and unhealthy, you gotta establish what those are. And once you know and you identify what those things are, that will help you determine how to grow those relationships.
Yeah, those are perfect answers. And I want to say one thing. If y'all, everybody in here, if you could think in your head the top 5 friends in your life, right? Top 5 friends. Think about what their value is. Not in your life. Don't go about what their value in their life. What their value is in general. Like, what are their strengths? And if I was to do a survey, I realized a lot of us, the people we have close in our circle, and I want to ask this question. I think we have our definition of what friends is all wrong. Our friends is, okay, he's a cool cat, we can ride together, we can go to the club, or we can chill and talk. But it's like, you don't even know what they're good at. Like, so long, Sid's been my boy for almost since high school, right? And we've had just a general friendship, and I consider Sid my boy. But it was still 3 years ago when we had a talk and discussion, and I realized that Sid is a genius in audio production. And now, I say I want to hang out with Sid all the time and have my circle, and that's why I brought Sid onto the team, because Sid, he developed my first mixtape, he finished my first album, which is coming out in March, like a dope album, he did all that. But I had to ask myself, in my circle, what is his skill set? And we had that conversation. And it would shock y'all if I gave everybody the mic, if you had to, what's your 5 friends? You had to identify what their strength is, how many of them be like, well, shoot. And it's not indicting, because I just realized the last couple of years. But I challenge for those that do have 5 friends in their life, the closest to them, just talk to them and say, what are they really good at? Like, not what you think they're good at. Because what you think, it may be totally different, and then that's why we have angst around, like, my friends, they ain't doing so much. No, because a lot of speakers say you are the 5 people around you. And I believe that to a certain extent, but a lot of times the 5 people around us, we never had a conversation what they're good at, because the only problematic thing in that statement, you are the 5 things around you, what I see is that you're telling people they're not enough. And the problem with that is you're pushing them somewhere else, but you don't know. They maybe have some skill sets. You never had a discussion with them, and they can really be the resources you need. But you didn't even ask those questions. But the second thing I want to do, this is specific to y'all's situations right now, is how do you continue to grow relationships, being now that you have 3 children and a wife and a congregation. So there's a lot of layers to all those relationships. So for my people in here that have a business, maybe a relationship with their employees, have a significant other, how to grow that relationship, but then also too, they have customers they have as well. Like Sierra, she has customers with this young lady right over there, she's a beast at what she does. She has a significant other, so she has to develop that relationship, has to develop a relationship with herself, then has to develop a relationship with her clients, because she has a home side business, but also works. That's a lot of layers right now. So how do y'all balance you as a husband, but also you as a single mother? How do you balance all those, not balance rather, how do you attack all those things? Because that balance thing is just a weird thing, right? So I'm gonna let you lead off, and then you hit on it. And be specific to your situation.
Okay. I just want to add one thing to that statement of you are the 5 people around you. When people hear that statement, they automatically think about their friends, when you really need to think about the 5 people that you're spending the most time with. It is not my friends. You know, for people who are not entrepreneurs, it's probably your coworkers. So it's the 5 people that you spend the most time with, that's who you are going to more than likely be like. Not necessarily your top 5 friends. Because all of us spend more time talking to our coworkers and all of that stuff more than we do our friends. So that's something that you have to analyze instead of, because like you said, it could come off as, you know, I'm betting, like, your friends are, oh, can I curse? Okay, no. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sometimes I have to curse.
Thank you.
Remember you was at the live podcast? Remember that answer you said? Then nah, I ain't gonna do that because he ain't on it. Oh gosh, you gonna say the prayer for you. Southside congregation. We're gonna say a prayer for you tomorrow. You good?
Thank you. But yeah, sometimes it does come off negative about your friends. It's not that, it's the 5 people that you spend the most time with. That's really important to know. But for me, managing all the relationships that I have to build, I have to protect my energy, and I have to protect my myself because I will run myself straight into the ground trying to appease all of these different types of relationships. My daughter is only 3. You know, my businesses, I'm only 2.5 or, almost 3 years in business. I started in the same year that I had my daughter, which is like insane. But balance doesn't exist in my life at all. But for me, I have to decide how much, like what's my stopping point, the boundary. You know, I can't give no more to this. You know, my little girl, sometimes I'll just turn that TV right on. And I hate that because I was one of those mothers that I'm like, I'm never going to put a phone in her hand and I'm never going to watch TV. She watches she watches like all the TV shows now because I need time, I need a break. Sometimes I will lock the door, like lock myself in my bathroom because she knows how to open the door now. Like, Mommy, what you doing? Like, none of your business. Okay, I'm trying to do my business. But it's having the boundaries, you know, if I feel like I'm working too much, if I'm putting too much time into, my relationship with my employees, or, my business partner, or, my family. When I feel like I can't give anymore, that's when I stop. And what I learned from that was, I was just talking about this in the car, that it's really important for you to fill yourself up so much to the point that you're overflowing. Because a lot of times we give what we don't have. And in relationships, we are giving. To the point where we are empty. You look around, everybody else full, and you're not. So you don't give until you are full. Okay? And I know people, that's not a popular thing at all, but for me, I'm a mother now. I have multiple businesses, and my businesses is in the spirit of giving. I'm serving, so I'm constantly giving my time, my talent, my treasure, my energy, everything is giving. I'm changing people's lives. Well, I have to stop that. I have to stop and wait and make sure that I'm full. And when I'm overflowing, everything that's extra, then I can give that. And the most important part is, I know in church we learn, I'm going to get my points back. In church we learn like it's important to give. When you give, you receive. But you shouldn't give to receive.
Yeah.
When you give, you will receive. It's just going to happen. So the intent behind giving is also really important. But again, what I would encourage everybody to do, and for me to help me manage all of these relationships that I have to build and focus on, I have to make sure that I actually have something to give to these relationships. And I'm in a space where I'm receiving. I'm allowing people to give to me to help fill me up. I'm focusing on myself, self-reflecting, I'm reading, I'm praying, I'm meditating, doing all of those things. And I can only imagine that, I've operated in a place where of scarcity. I really didn't have a lot to give in the past couple of years. But as much as I have done and accomplished and achieved at a scarcity level, I can only imagine the impact that I'm going to have when I'm overflowing.
Love that. And before I go, I want to give a fast fact about Bernicia. How old were you? Because every morning, your parents had you recite Bible scriptures every single morning, you and all your siblings, right?
Yeah.
How many years did that happen?
18.
18 years of her life. Her parents woke her up and how long was Bible study?
We had Bible study in the morning. At 5 a.m. So it's 5 o'clock prayer. My dad would read scriptures. He had them all over the walls. We had to recite them. And then when he got home from work at 6 o'clock, we had 6 o'clock Bible study. And we would pray again, have Bible study. And then he would leave and go to work because he used to work 2 jobs. Because there's 10 of us, it's 5 boys, 5 girls. And when he left, my mama came back and had Bible study again. Sometimes saying the opposite that Daddy said, but that's okay. But we had Bible study again. So that was my life. It was nothing but religion and Christianity and scriptures and prayer and all of that stuff. And, for 18 years of my life, I felt very full. And that's probably why I'm able to give now. But now it's, I don't have that routine anymore. That was like morning and night, even every day. I'm not even taking the week schedule. don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Okay. But as much as that the information and what they imparted in me, that filled me up. So when I was able to be free, 18, leaving the nest, I did have a lot of things to give because all my life, that's what my parents just so seasoned me. And unfortunately, in a short amount of time, I done gave it all away. So when it comes to relationships, you got to, especially at this age, I'm 29, It's important to, again, be self-aware, have that check-in with yourself. Where am I right now? Because it doesn't really matter what happened before. It's important to understand where you've been, but you also need to assess where you are right now, where you want to go. And in order to do that with relationships, for me personally, I have to fill myself up, like I said, to the point that I'm overflowing.
Give me that question one more time.
So, in the context of a leader of your congregation, a husband, a father of 3, and just your interpersonal, you also go to school, about to get your master's degree, then eventually a doctorate and studies. How do you plan on maximizing each of those relationships? Like, what do you have a strategy? How do you even tackle that? Because that's a lot.
So I think one is communication, right? So I'm not doing anything that me and my wife haven't already agreed that that's what I should do, right? So we're there together, and so I think that's number one. In communication, though, however, we got to spend a lot of time listening. And it's good to be married to somebody who hasn't bought into all the hype that sometimes people can put in your head, especially when you go to church and you go to school and folk always saying certain things about you, gassing you up. Well, when I come home, my wife, she makes sure that I stay on the ground. And that's really good, and because in this moments of communication, I really have to hear her, and not, how sometimes in communication where there's a lot of talking going on, but ain't nobody listening. And oftentimes what happens is in a relationship, especially a marital relationship, you can find yourself spending a lot of time talking at each other, but not really listening to each other. And so I try to make sure I listen. It's hard. It's hard because also it takes a bit of humility because it's hard to hear somebody tell you what you need to hear, especially when you know they're right. And I tell y'all this like for real, like this is my biggest secret. This is what makes me so good. What makes me so great is my wife is so much smarter than I am. So, y'all listen, I'm telling you. So before I say anything to you, I've already said it to her. And she usually gives me points. I'm serious, that's for real. And she'll probably tell y'all, no, that ain't true, but that's real, that's really real. So that's one, communication. And then when it comes to my children, I've been one too. I really look down on how we can sometimes allow the TVs to babysit our children. And not TVs, the iPads. We got like 3 iPads in the house, right? And so my kids always ask, hey, Daddy, can we use the iPad? And because we have a lot going on, it's really easy to pacify them and be like, yo, take the iPad. And even though that happens, I don't feel so bad about it sometimes, because work got to get done sometimes. But I think what we do is we try to be intentional about having time that's specifically for them, and not just on Friday, but every day. Every day we take the time, we try to find it to where we spend time, even if it's just an hour, just spending time listening to them tell stories in circles, because that's what kids do, tell stories in circles. But you just listen to it and you follow it. And you let them know that when they got your attention, that it's a big deal, right? And so I think that's what I do to try to manage those relationships. And then when it comes to the church, I learned what I'm learning to do is, number one, to be honest. Because a lot of times we're not honest, especially when you work at a church where people sign your check. And the people don't sign my check, but still at the end of the day, I'm accountable to them. But even though I'm accountable to them, I love this line. I work for the church. I work for God. And so I use that line. But also it's another thing when you're working in a context where you're dealing with people, I've learned to gravitate toward this word, and the word is imperturbability. And imperturbability simply means, and it's almost like a meditation you have to do, where you have to remind yourself that folk will come at you sideways, they will come at you with all types of stuff, noise. Yeah. But in all of it, you have to remember that you got to be unbothered. You got to keep your composure. And that's right, be unbothered. No matter how bad it is, no matter how difficult it is, you don't let people get you out of what you're on task to do. And so imperturbability is my word. That's what I do, right? And I hope that speaks to those questions.
That answers, and I have one question before we transition to the business portion. And we're gonna alter the schedule a little bit. I got something planned at the end where we're gonna get audience to have questions and audience. More so, I'm gonna plan at the end. I got something special here for the audience, right? So we won't have a question right now specifically, but at the end, stick with us, and I'm gonna get the audience involved because a lot of times in this space, and I'm gonna be clear, I know you come for a lot of wisdom, you have questions in your heart, but I wanted the people to leave this building, not just leaving, oh, the speakers are dope, it was a great event, but at least leaving it, I'm dope. I'm a trailblazer, and I got something that's gonna flip a little bit at the end. So unfortunately, after we have this, we'll make a transition, and there'll be time after for questions, but we'll have to, y'all wanna stay on time. So this last question for y'all, and y'all can take a second if you wanna think about it, is what would you tell, knowing what you know now, your 21-year-old self, right? And I'm going somewhere with this for my next guest. I'm layering it a different way, but for y'all in particular, and it could be for you specifically before you had a kid, knowing what you know now, and then for you specifically, it could be before you got married.
Leave him. I just gotta let that sit for a second. Not because of the person, but for me. I gave for 7 years of my life in a relationship. Gave. And I would have told myself to leave him and to remain alone. To remain alone. I love my daughter to death. Love her to death. But the time that I needed to develop as a woman was taken from me, and I gave it away, but it was taken from me. I didn't have that time to develop as a woman, to understand my value. I didn't understand relationships, how to truly be in one with myself, with other people. It really affected every aspect of my life. So, to be locked down, which sounds really negative, but to be so committed so early, for so long, not knowing so much about the world and myself had a really I don't want to say a negative impact on my life because I wouldn't take anything back. I've learned I'm here now, but I think I would have been a stronger woman, sooner, if that makes sense. So if I could tell myself anything when I was 21, no matter how hard it was, no matter how sold I was on, the situation that I was in, I would tell myself to leave him, listen to my mom and dad, but to leave him for me, because I think we deserve to have time invested into ourselves. And I can only imagine if the energy that I put into the relationships that I had, I can only imagine what type of person that I would be today if I had invested that energy into myself. And so nothing against the person, but it's all about, me giving the energy that I was giving to someone else. It's all about giving it back to myself because I deserve that. And that's the only way that I'm really going to flourish and be the person that I'm supposed to be.
That's good. I'll say build. Just if I'm speaking to my 21-year-old self, I'll say build. And what I mean by that is, I think the first 30-some years of our lives is really spent building. Almost, metaphorically like building a house. Everything you do is adding to that building, to that structure, right? And sometimes we can be a little bit presumptuous.
So I was like, I didn't want to do diligence with my audience. So I said, I spent like $1,500 on all this apparel, and the students don't have no money. So I sold like 5 things. I was like, no, we ain't gonna do that again. We ended up just having this dead material. So if you do want some Minority Trailblazer stuff, we have it in a lot of different colors. You can look it up at minoritytrailblazer.com. I'm gonna leave that up there. Y'all do what y'all do with that. So before we go and I introduce our business folk and get this thing rolling, do I need two people to share from the last thing? What is one thing that stood out to them before we go to the business? I need two. Right here, and then one more. Oh my goodness, I know y'all not gonna go here with it. I'm not going. So our next two guests, I'm gonna introduce my brother Desmond Scott first. I already gave you a little spill about him, but he's one of the guys who's actually younger than me, but I always looked up to the way he built and organized himself as a business, his discipline, and his foresight to, when somebody tells no, he's gonna find a way, period. And he's gonna be honest with you. If he can't do something for you, be like, no, I can't do it. It ain't gonna be no pacifier like, oh, gee, I got you, and then you holler at him and you ain't picking up the phone. But we all got friends that promise a lot, but then when the times come, they just never there. Like, he's a guy that's always been honest, but most importantly, I know he's had many probably setbacks in business, but he never stopped. Just continue to keep going and building, not just like build, I'm talking about build. And I'm just impressed with what he's been able to do with Prime and just in general, his own attitude. And I had him at Charlotte, and he's one of the brothers that if I ever need him something, he just say, okay, where's it at? He never hit me with the whole, and he could. He's like, all right, how much, what's going on, how I'm gonna reflect my brand, how you gonna put my picture, whatever. He's like, yo, where's it at, black man? Every single time, where's it at, black man? So he gonna talk a little bit about that journey, but let's clap it up for Desmond Scott. And next, but certainly not least, I really want to be intentional when we have this business portion, because a lot of times we have these events, it's just for entrepreneurs, right? But it's not the case. We have people that are a variety of different disciplines. So I wanted to highlight and showcase a strong black woman that wasn't necessarily in the entrepreneur space technically, but that supports not only black business, but supports business as a whole and has a wealth of knowledge. And I was like, I talked to one of my fraternity brothers, Jay Gunn, and I was like, yo, Jay Gunn, shoot me somebody that's doing some dope stuff, but it's not in the phase of starting to try to do it. It's in the phase of like, we've accomplished certain things and I can speak to some things. He said, yo, Demon do it. I said, okay, cool. So I looked it up and I was like, oh snap, I need to get Demon do it, right? So then I reached out to Dee, and she said immediately, all right, sign me up, where is that? Let's go. I'm not gonna read a long bio, but all I know is she's a dynamic influencer in Durham, and she don't brag about it. It's not online about it. But she can make moves, make stuff shake, make money shake, and do all these things. And I also told I'm excited. We're gonna get there. But let's clap it up for Demon Dude. So one of the first things we're gonna ask, the mics is going, is for y'all to share just a little bit about who you are, where you're from, a little bit about yourself, just to give the audience a little bit of context.
Sure. Sorry. I'm a little bit bored, so hopefully my voice won't go out. My name is GregEHill. I'm a little bit conflicted. I'm from Raleigh. Sorry. Grew up in Raleigh, went to school in Greensboro, UNCG Spartan, majored in communication studies, and have had a winding road through my professional career since then. I will say that this solidifies my transition into the old head space, because when you're one more person talk about how they're in their 20s, I'm telling you, I start to see gray hair now. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I just texted a friend and say, girl, you're almost out of the young professional group. But anyway, by day, I lead, I'm Senior Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at a bank called Pacific Western Bank. It acquired a bank called Square One in October 2015. I led Community Co-founder, a nonprofit called Black Wall Street that puts on the Black Wall Street Homecoming here in Durham. I do a bunch of other nonprofit stuff, but that's kind of in a nutshell who I am.
Love that.
That's good. Good evening. Great, thank you. I'm Desmond Scott, owner and founder of Prime Athletic Training and Fitness Institute. I'm from Durham. Graduated from Hillside in 2009, graduated from Duke. Come on now. Graduated from Duke in 2013 with a double major and a minor in African American Studies and History and Education. I'm 28.
We have discovered that there's a decade between us.
But she doesn't look it. Doesn't she look good? But I'm excited to be here and share knowledge with you guys. Normally when I have these opportunities to speak either with Greg or anybody else, most of the time it's about health and fitness. And one of my goals for 2019 is to break into the space to talk business. You know, I tried to do it before, but nobody really jumped on it. So I'm excited to be here and talk about how my business started and the blessings that it's been.
So before I jump into the hardball stuff, I want you to break down there's from the ground up, the birth of your business from actually, you talk and then transition from the birth of your business until now, and like kind of like a 3-5 point, and then you can kind of just share just some highlights of your twisting journey in your own space, and then we'll cut to where I really want us to go.
Yeah, well, so I would say that my life was kind of set up for me not to fail, right? If I was to ever do a book, that's what it would probably be entitled. My life was set up for me not to fail. Coming out of high school, I was the #1 running back in the state, number 23 in the nation. I had the opportunity to play at any college I wanted to for free. And my top 5 colleges was Clemson, Florida, Georgia, West Virginia, Rutgers.
Much capital. It's just, that's the way it is. So my co-founders and I, we got together, being in Durham for work, and a lot of them live in Durham, and we said, what this rich history that Durham has around Black entrepreneurship, Black wealth, people working together. So we launched a nonprofit that focuses on providing access to capital for Black and minority entrepreneurs. So that's where Black Wall Street Company.
Supposed to be doing, but I gotta make it plain to you how to do it so you do it the way I want. Like, don't have high expectations for your firm, right? Yes, you bring them on for a role, but you're gonna have to do a lot of self-reflecting so that they can do it the way you want it to be done. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Business and life. If you have another business that you're going to share.
No, I'll go ahead and go into life. There's no such thing as balance. And it's very easy to lose yourself and your relationship with God when you're so focused on making your baby an adult, right? In 2017, 2018, I was so focused on relationship and gym that I wasn't being led by the one who got me to that point, and then because I wasn't being led by him, clearly I couldn't lead myself, right? And when you get to a point where you understand and you realize, like, yo, I'm losing myself. Like, I'm not doing the things that I used to do. I'm not enjoying my life like I once did. You have to put brakes on it. And you have to come to grips with self and understand, like, why it's actually happening, right? So don't hold your people to super, super high standards. And there's no real such thing as a balance, right? And don't lose the connection with God because He got you to the point you are.
Let's see, 2018 business lessons. This is a recurring theme, but it's just do the work, right? I think people get so caught up in, doing the work because someone else will see and recognize, but like, do the work because your name is attached to it, and everything else will fall into place. So that's a big thing for me. I think also along the lines of like, to your point about people doing things the way you want it to be done, I had to learn to detach myself from the process and just be concerned with the outcome. So I, as a leader now, all I tell people is where we need to be, right? How do you get there? I can't do it. I can't. And I had to have a tough conversation with an intern once, and I said, if I have to do your job and my job, why do I need you here? So I empower people to be able to figure it out for themselves and just hold them accountable for the outcome. So I'm crystal clear in what the outcome should be, but I no longer have the capacity to get involved in how they get there. On the personal side, it's funny, I just had to say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the process. For most of I'm very list-oriented, my friends call me the cruise director, I plan everything, I'm that person. But in 2018, I just had to decide to enjoy the process. because there's so much work, there's so much stuff. My calendar is so full, and I just got so busy going from thing to thing to thing and planning the next thing that I was missing out on the process. So the biggest sort of lesson and accomplishment for me in 2018 was learning not to be so focused in my personal life on the next thing, but enjoying the here and now.
Love that, love that. So I have two different questions for you, Des. If you had to boil it down, I'm not gonna give you a number on it, but what were the key things that allowed you to actually build your business from scratch? Because like you didn't take out a loan to do this facility. You didn't go cry. You probably went to a bank when you go tell your story, but it was cash. It was straight up. And many of us in this room, for those on the business side, of course it is smart because you come into these spaces, you look for money. But what if those doors are closed? How can you still make those steps when, if you look on the outside looking in, there may not be a way that you really see. And then D for you is, how do you curate or grow your influence from a corporate perspective? Because I know sometimes from a corporate perspective, or just in general for those of everybody's not an entrepreneur, or everybody is worried about some of the vanity metrics, or let me get more shares, let me get this, let me get that, which are important to a certain degree. But there are people that, not even on social media, they're making huge waves and influencing people, creating partnerships, and really playing the string behind the scenes. So how can those people that are in the audience right now, with their business or with their lives, start to grow the influence in their own circle, etc.? So I'll let you start there.
Yeah, I would start with saying keep your foot on the pedal. The relationships that you have, and not making it as complicated as most people do, right? Start small. One thing that this guy said to me was, don't outrun your headlights, right? Don't outrun your headlights. And if we're driving in a car, you only can see so far, right? And we have this big goal of where we want our businesses and our lives to be, you know, and we can see it, but it's a little blurry, right? And if you don't outrun your headlights, you can always see what's going on in front of you, right? And that's kind of what I did with the business. To be honest, I didn't do a business plan until 2017, right? I didn't know how to do one. You all right? Yeah, no, like, so serious. Like, business started December 2013. I did not write a business plan until 2017. And the reason for that was because I didn't start off to make it a business. Like, it was a side hustle, and the popularity of what we provided grew it into a business. And I learned everything as I was going, like literally learned what an LLC was, what an S Corp was. Like, I named my business something even before I even had it established. Like, you know, I didn't outrun my headlights. I let the people, I let the day-by-day stuff create what we actually have now. You know, we're based upon faith, family, and fitness. And that didn't come until like 2 years in, where I was having a conversation with the young lady who I graduated with. And I was like, yo, I gotta have God in my business some kind of way. And I was like, but I don't wanna be overbearing. I don't wanna be negative to people who don't believe what I believe. And she's like, well, Des, it's through you how people are gonna see God. And that didn't come until 2 years later, right? After we already created the LLC. So my business was created step by step over the years of the people forcing us to grow. So don't outrun your headlights. Not making it super stressful, right? What was the word that word.
Like you can't be perturbed, like bothered. That's what there you go.
That is me all day long, right? That is me all day long. Like, I'm not gonna stress. I'm not gonna allow what you talking to bother me, and it gets me in trouble with my girlfriend all the time. Like, it's like, yo, okay, you're emotional right now. Well, let's try to figure out how we're gonna fix it. Like, I don't have the time right now to be emotional with you. Let's fix this, right? Gets me in trouble, right? But, yeah, right. But that's how I was in business. And I think that's how you should be to a certain extent. Like, if you're trying to go do something, you can't let other people's actions and emotions and things like that throw you off your path, right? So my level for stress, like, God got it, I'm gonna figure this thing out. Because we're trying to understand, I was 22, I left the guaranteed paycheck and health benefits, right? So my relationship with God at 22 was off the chain, right? So it's like, yo, you're not gonna stress me. This is where I'm trying to get to. It's my job to service these individuals that are coming in my life, so much so that I got it tattooed on my ribs, servant, because I'm a servant of God, and it's my job to service you guys. Like, that's my job, and I take it very, very seriously. So don't outrun your headlights, and don't let people stress you out.
Good advice.
I want to say something before I forget. So along the lines of the last relationship, there's a lot of conversation around your relationship with yourself, your relationship to others. How many of y'all heard of GregEHill before? No? Okay. See, I'm going to give y'all some, or one person has. So GregEHill is an author. There is a book that she wrote called The Four Tendencies. So basically, it's how you relate to yourself and how you relate to other people. There's ways you can take, and I'm going to try to remember the four. Either you're an obliger, you're an upholder, a rebel, or a questioner, right? And those are all basically like, an obliger is someone who always does things for other people but might let themselves down. A rebel is a person who doesn't do anything for either. And this is like, if I say I'm going to go to the gym and I don't go to the gym, and if someone else asks me to take a meeting with them and I do, then that falls into one of the categories. So it's really an interesting tool. It's one of those personality profile things. So I wanted to share that with y'all. It's free. So how can you raise your profile in a corporate setting without all the rah-rah social media? Again, it's do the work. Y'all hear me say that over and over again, right? Like, be the person that when something comes up, they say, oh, I can call you and she'll get it done. Be the person who knows, people know that you're the expert in that. Don't go selling tickets to something that your booty ain't cash though, right? I think in the age of social media and technology, a lot of people have this inflated sense of self-worth, right? Like they think they're an expert at something, when really all they does is read a couple of articles online. No shade to people like that, that's not me. I know what I'm good at, and that's what I do. I stick to that. I stick to what I know I can add value. And I think that when you do that, and you have a portfolio of things that when someone comes to you to ask you about your work, you can point to examples. I think that's how you build, you build yourself as an expert. Then the flip side is self-promotion. A lot of times, especially women, we don't promote ourselves, we don't promote our work, right? So it's you gotta know, you gotta do work, be good at it, and then tell people about it. So I'm not opposed to people sharing their wins or sharing their work on social media when it's something that you've done, but really you gotta have some authenticity and depth to what it is that you're offering. So I say that those are the things.
And it's crazy when you said, like, the key word is that value piece. And a lot of times people, it's crazy, and that's why I tell everybody, when you have friends in your life, you need to let them know what their value is. Like, as much time as you can, let them know, because a lot of people, somebody can tell you what you're good at, but it's hard for you to see it yourself, because I don't know why, we got that inherent humble patch in us that we like, well, I don't know. What's your strength? Well, I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know what your strength is? Like, you're a mother. Like, you have kids, you don't know you have no stress? But it's crazy, but I realized that even growing up, a lot of times, I love my dad to death, but unfortunately, and I love him, but he didn't always tell me verbally what I was good at or why he loved me. And this thing I provide, I already know. But it's like, no, you need to verbally tell me. And with my friends, even sometimes when I want to verbally tell them, oh, you're good at this, or this is phenomenal, because a lot of people have a hard time seeing what our value is. So you said something about, well, that's no value, people don't buy our value. But then I think you need to really spend time and fine tune on how to articulate our value. Because you said, okay, share people their value. I think everybody doesn't really necessarily know how to share their value. So what is that? So when you kind of break down in your own head, right? Somebody asks you, okay, what's your value versus what you do? How can somebody articulate their value? What's the steps to do that?
I think it's important to, might be a little controversial, but like I appreciate that your answer is totally right. But we have all these resources available to us to figure out who you are in this day and age, right? There are all sorts of personality profiles, there's all sorts of job descriptions, and there's a wealth of information on the internet that you could go and see, oh, this is me, right? YouTube, all these different resources, right? So go and see what resonates with you, right? I am a talker. I love to write. I don't love numbers. I can do numbers, but I don't love them, right? So I know like what my thing is, and I think if we all spend more time trying to figure out what our thing is, then it'll be easy for us to articulate it, right? But I think that also, there's formulas and there's all sorts of resources on the internet about how to develop your own personal pitch. It's how do you want to be seen? When you meet someone, what do you want them to see in you? I want people to see me as an outgoing, articulate, personable woman. That's what I want to be seen as, and I hope that's what I share when I make an introduction. So I think you have to go and do some exploring. Like you don't know already, right? You have to go and explore, and then point yourself to a resource on how to authentically create an elevator pitch. You don't, I'm not going to, hey, I'm Dee McDougal, I'm Senior Vice President. I'm not going to do that, right? But I'm going to say, hey, I'm Dee. I'm really passionate about diversity and inclusion and creating spaces for people to feel like they're valued and welcome. So if I say that, hopefully you get who I am, right? Or hey, I'm Dee, and I enjoy volunteering with organizations that promote child welfare, or whatever your thing is, right? You want to talk about yourself in a way that you want to be received. Oh, that's helpful.
That's great. And to add to that, and I got a question to wrap up, to add to that, I love that piece, and I think one big thing when you think about just business and you think about just cultivating relationships among us, and I want to go back to that honesty piece. Because it's difficult really sometimes to be honest with ourselves on the mistake that we are making. Like even, like I said, earlier this year, when we're building on conferences, doing things that I wasn't qualified to do. I am not a conference planner. I didn't even hire a conference planner. I didn't have the budget to hire a conference planner, so I sit in the conference, period. But, and I can say for all those people, you need to try and fail. The thing is, I've already tried that before and failed, so it's not, so I couldn't give myself that act, but I still did it, but I wasn't honest with myself. I wanted to believe what other people believe, like, oh, G, you can do everything. No, G can't do everything. There's boundaries for a lot of things, and the reason, like, when we go past the yard and we see a fence, there's a fence there for a reason, half the time. So I have to tell myself, even to this day, certain things that I can, because I know now that you are Senior Vice President, and you do a lot of things with Prime, there's opportunities to endless, opportunities to invest in business, opportunities to network, partnership, and all these other things. But you have to have boundaries, what you will do and what you won't. So before I ask my last question, how do y'all do now when y'all in your positions now deal with boundaries? Because everybody in here has a role, even in their job, even with their relationship with their kids, where there's certain boundaries that have to be put in place. But this is all, for me, it's all new to me now. Like, I really have to think to myself, okay, I can't do that. Even though I'm cool with you, I need to know, okay, what's going on here? I just can't be like, oh, boom, let me go do it. So how do y'all really establish, you can start first, how do you establish boundaries in your workspace and who you in your interactions now?
Oh, that's a really good question. So you said earlier that there is no balance, right? I had it like last year coming at me left and right opportunities, and I'm not opposed to the you pick your brain. You'll see some people, and I hope it's somebody in here that then. Some people are like, oh, can we move past can I pick your brain? I'm all for people asking me questions about something that I can help you with, right? But I had to learn to say no and not feel bad about it. Because I had to learn how to protect my time. Because the work is always going to be there. So for me, it was, what's the least amount of effort or time for the highest amount of impact? That's how I make my decisions, right? So if someone needs 15 minutes or 30 minutes with me and then I'll move the needle for them in their lives, I'm happy to do it. But if I'm signing up for another project and it's not necessarily going to do anything, I can't do it. So that's kind of how I've learned to, really prioritize my own personal time. I I'm not married, I don't have any kids. So when you are unmarried and don't have kids, people think that your time is their time. So people want to sign you up for all sorts of stuff, right? So I had to say, this is how I'm gonna judge every new opportunity. And a lot of times it is about money. I turned down an opportunity to make money on a side project, but it was gonna take up every ounce of my personal time. And I just had to say no.
I will talk about boundaries when it comes to opportunities within the gym, right? I think a lot of people, if they start one business and they have the opportunity to start another one, I would be the one who says, figure out what you're good at and then create other businesses that surround what you're good at, right? And I had to learn that with myself because I wanted to do this, and this because I had the money to do it. It was like, well, no, that doesn't make sense. One of the smartest business people that I'm really hip to right now is Jay-Z, right? On Meek Mill's album, he's on What's Free, right? And he was just talking about all the things that he owns or co-owns, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. Ace of Spades, Juice, Tidal, Rockefeller, but it all surrounds rap. It's like, yo, I'm good at rap. I'm good at rapping. I'm good at storytelling. What can I do that surrounds this? And so for me, it was like, okay, well, there's your business. I want to make it like Target, right? What I mean by make it like Target is like you can go to Target, y'all ladies know, y'all can go to Target and spend hours in Target like it's the mall. And it's because you got electronics, you got grocery stores, you can buy clothes, you get shoes, you get whatever you need from Target for the low, right? And what I realized is like, yo, that's what I gotta make Prime, right? I gotta bring you into Prime and I gotta want you to be here all day long, right? And how do we do that? Okay, well, I put a hair salon in the gym, ladies. Right, so come on, come work out. Don't worry about sweating it out. We good. We got a wash bowl in the back. We're gonna get you right. And we're gonna braid you up. Right? Oh, you got kids? Okay, we got a full-time daycare too. Where you can drop your kids off for up to 4 hours. You got a date? Don't worry about it. Bring them to us. You trust me, so you're gonna trust your kid with me. Right? No matter who the daycare person is, you trust me, you trust Prime, you're gonna be okay with leaving your child there, right? So we're creating an environment where you wanna spend time there. Like it's not just a gym, right? We have people that come to the gym now, right? Some in the audience, like yo, they'll come to the gym, they'll work out, and they'll stay for another 2 hours. It's like, yo, go home, bro. Like, you have a job, it's cool. But I enjoy it. Like that's the environment that I wanted to create, right? So when establishing a business and you're ready to venture off into another one, right? Ask yourself, what am I good at, right? If it's hair, right? Well, your next thing needs to be, I'm gonna create some oils that's gonna help this hair, right? Or I'm gonna bring on somebody else that knows how to do a style that I don't know how to do. They gonna pay her, but she gonna pay me. Right, so you just created two types of businesses, right, from the foundation that you're good at, right? You're not wrecking your brain, right? So I'm not killing myself, to get back to your question, like I'm not killing myself trying to work on different projects outside of the gym. I'm adding them into the gym.
Man, that's a vibe. So as we close.
Can you add just the word strategy?
Yep, strategy.
That's it. That's what you just talked about, right? Like, so it's being strategic, right? Like, if you have an opportunity, pull up from what you're doing and be strategic. So, you have your core business, right? And then you have all these ancillary businesses or opportunities, and make sure that what you're doing ties back to the main, right? And if it doesn't, let it be like
the opportunity needs to be so lucrative that you'd be stupid not to do it, right? But otherwise, it doesn't make sense because you're splitting your brain into, or you're putting your brain in unrelated directions, right? So if you're gonna do a gym, sure, smoothie bar, hair salon, all that makes sense, but it might not necessarily make sense for you to try to open a hotel, right? So these are the things that we're talking about business principles, is being strategic, taking time to do not necessarily a vision board, but for a full-fledged business plan, but really be intentional about where you want your business to go. Because part of not outrunning your headlights is understanding what might come along, right? So, paying attention to the things that might come from the left or the right, and you really have to be strategic and intentional about doing those things in order for your business to be successful. And one of the things that we focus on a lot is helping businesses grow and scale. You're an excellent example of someone who started a business and you're growing and scaling isn't by multiple locations, but it's growing and scaling by adding more to it. So you're going to be exponentially better at what you do and create way more money and streams of revenue as opposed to just that one thing. So when we start to think about, I leave y'all with any nuggets today, is really think about who you are, what you're good at, and then how you can be strategic in growing that business.
I love that. So, wow. The last thing
Great. Hold on. First of all, you put my words. You talking real good. I have a lot of thoughts in my mind, but I can't articulate it all the time. So that was pretty good, okay? That was good. But she was like, know what you're good at. Know what you're good at. What did you say? Know what you're good at. The last part.
What? Know what you're good at. Be strategic about how you grow.
Right. So know what you're good at, right? And I will add on to that. What the people want, and how can you give it to them consistently? Right? Knowing what you're good at, and self, what am I good at? Okay, good. Now, the people who want what you're good at, how can you give it to them? And how can you give it to them at a consistent level, high? Right? 3 good questions.
All right, Greg's gonna kill you.
This is good right here. I wanted to say one thing to that, because I think the gap that I was missing, because I'm all for, I believe in having visual boards, having those things. But what you just did something deep just now. You just said, I'm not good at wordsmith, can you help with that word piece, right? So when I took the next step is, I have no problem having ideas, starting ideas, but I need people around me with another, that next level of business IQ, right? So there's a group that I have, I just throw random ideas with, we build on that. But there's also a group of individuals I have that have a whole different skill set and say, okay, G, this is how you level up to the next level. And I didn't realize, and there's no different shades of people that give me those ideas, but I didn't realize that I needed other help. I said, I went to those same people that helped me idea. I had them to help me take to the next level, and they didn't have the tools. But I realized, Greg, you need to humble yourself, because I love those people, but I need to really delve into this, so how can I find them? And stop at nothing until you find them. Don't just, because if you keep asking these, okay, we go same year and have these, let's break it and have the vision. Break the vision. I love to get the vision, but we have to make it our destiny to find who are the other people that can support me, that can bring me to life, but also I want to add this. We can still reach out to people that are farther ahead, but we got to make it easy for them to give us advice. Make it easy, so when your email, don't just say, hey, I'm starting a business, what do you have to do? No, make it easy, okay, I'm starting a business, and could you send me an audio message, a minute audio message of what you would say to a 20-year-old that does X, Y, and Z? Like, be creative on the advice they can give you, so they don't have to, because you make them do a lot of work, like, okay, I'm 21, I want to start a business, what do I do? How do I get money? That's a broad question.
And I'm not gonna answer it.
You're not going to get ignored, but I'm telling you, there's people out there that you would believe that would give you some support, give you advice, if you just thought a little bit more creatively on how to make it. Like my boy D example, right? My boy D, I didn't put his network, I didn't know his business idea, but he called 6 figures his first year as a motivational speaker. Clap his hands, clap his hands. So, I had him on a podcast, and I'm a mistake. I had a young brother reach out to me, so I sent your boy an email. He gave me back. I was like, what you mean? He said, boy, okay. I read the email. He said, I'm 20 years old, I'm trying to get into speaking. How do I start? Is that what you, if a guy that is obviously first year, is that how you want to approach it? No disrespect to him, but it's like, What are some other creative ways so that if he's busy and he's doing that you can give advice? So make it simple, because there's people that are in the position you want to be in, they want to give you advice, but you got to make it simple for them to actually give it to you, and I guarantee they'll help you out. This last question I want to leave it over.
It's not also about the email, it's about how often are you willing to follow up. So sometimes you understand the people that you're trying to hit up, oftentimes they have other things going on in their mind. So that first email might not be seen, but it's that second email, that third email, where I often say, you know, here's my cell phone number, give me a call. So how persistent are you in wanting to get that help?
And pull up on them. If you see him in your city, hey, don't be in my city. I was just disrespectful. You young cat, you be in my city. Hey, you see me running? Oh, where your run group at? I'm gonna show up at the run group. Oh, square peg. Okay, I'm gonna not to get that creepy, but I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be real. Like, if you really want something, okay, oh, I really want to break into this corporate sector. She's a good connection. She's in Durham. Let me find out where she lunch at. Let me do something. Be real. If you really want it, there's people out there that are willing to give you that game, but it ain't gonna be as simple as sending an email.
Tell them you can't present in August. I sliced up my vacation, basically ruined it because I wasn't willing to say, hey guys, I've already made plans. I should have told them. It would have been well received, it would have been fine, but I was too scared. And so looking back on it now, I should have just said when they moved the meeting, like, hey, I already had something scheduled, but I didn't. So that's what I was talking. That's an exercise in strength. It's an exercise in knowing your shit, sorry. But I should have done that because I took the easy way out by saying, it's okay, I'll just reschedule. And it took me a day to get where I was doing it from Beverly Hills, but I should have done it differently.
What I would tell 2018 Desmond is to continue to work, accolades will come. And that's not just 2018, that's 2017, 16, and 15. You know, because I saw other people getting things that I was like, yo, I know they're not working as hard as I'm working, right? And I felt like I should have been man of the year this and best gym that, right? But I just put my head down and worked. That's what 2017 was. And in 2018, Prime was named best gym in Durham via Durham Magazine. And I was also Spectacular Magazine Man of the Year, right? So it was, don't think about what you're gonna do, just do it, just work, do the work.
Do the work.
Do the work. So that's what I tell myself.
So on that, clap it up, clap it up. They'll be out for a while, so show love, talk to them real quick, and just grab a seat, so thank y'all, real talk. So, we're gonna jump right into the next section. We're not even gonna go through the whole, y'all gonna have a portion when the music's playing to talk amongst yourself what y'all learned, but I wanna be on that timepiece, so we're gonna jump right into it. So next up, and also too, I'm gonna leave it up there this time. For those, like I said, more information on the capital improvement campaign is right online. Leave it up there. Definitely go support. But the next two people individually that I'm gonna have come talk are near and dear. We're gonna talk about holistic health. We're gonna talk about holistic health, and I'm gonna let the dogs do their thing. I'm gonna let the people do their thing with it. The first person I want to introduce is I call my brother. One of my brothers. I don't say that word as much as I used to. I used to like everybody my brother, everybody ain't your brother. Everybody ain't your friend. That's the other thing. So, but he's really a brother of mine. He's a co-founder, but one of the lead person. We co-founder, but he's the lead person in Rebel Run, which is an amazing run group on Mondays. If you are in North Carolina, on Mondays, every Monday at 6:45 at the wall, we got a run group. At the Bull, we got a run group. We got a 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile group. We got walking, we got all that good stuff, right? So he helped co-found that. He's in finance speak, so his focus is really in finance, but I really wanted to have him speak on holistic health because there's a lot of people that speak about health, that speak about a lot of things, but who they are doesn't contribute that. We have a lot of self-appointed self-help special, whatever, and you meet them, they're like, oh, what is self-help guru? What is up, where that energy at? It's real cold. And even though he doesn't call himself an expert in health, holistic wellness, I'll be honest, this brother, like last year at the beginning was just a weird moment in my life. And I'm telling you, every Monday, and I know you want to put me on the spot, but I got to. Every Monday, every Wednesday, every Sunday, came to the crib, picked me up, never complained, never asked for nothing. Would call me like, "Gee, you come to church, put me up," all this other stuff. And his confidence, more so consistency. His consistency spoke volumes in a way, and he's one of the guys that live by what he preaches. He lives it, and he can be hard on himself a lot of times, because he's gonna be shaking his head right now, rebuking what I'm saying. But he lives by what you preach, and you gotta go find you some friends like that. He's gonna live by what they preach. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring Terry. See, come to the stage. And then next, I want to introduce Tiana. And it's crazy. This year, the most transformative year of my life, personally and from a business perspective. And it all came from people that I've already known, people that I went to high school with. And she's the sister that, and I know before this leading up to the event, she was really anxious about like being prepared and all this other stuff. And the reason why I started this podcast because there's people that you're already a trailblazer. You guys, your parents, the culture has already prepared you to be phenomenal. You're already phenomenal. You don't gotta get prepared to show up because you do it. You live it. That's what you do. So I'm really excited about what she has to say in this self-care space, the jewels she's about to drop. And y'all really give her a round of applause. Let her know that, affirm her that, give her this space, give her this confidence that she's gonna come out here and be dominant like she is. Also, too, she has a book, so at the end, when she says some stuff, go support her. Even if you can't support her, let her know, when I can't support her, I will do something, because y'all don't know, these entrepreneurs, I don't care if people don't. Like the donation fee, people like, I can donate $100. There's somebody I know right now that donated $5. I know they didn't have it. I know they didn't have it. Not to say, I appreciate people that donated a lot, but that $1 meant so much. They didn't wait too long. I get $100. We can go preach all day. But a lot of people waiting to do stuff. You need to stop waiting. You need to stop hesitating. Because I gave more than I ever gave this year, but I got it back tenfold. I didn't get it, but I got it back tenfold. So I'm telling y'all, with these entrepreneurs that are pouring out their soul, even if you can't support, just affirm them. Affirm them with what they're trying to do. So let's clap it up for Tiana. Let's clap it up. So first and foremost, we're just going to jump it up so you can get the audience a little bit of context of who you are, and not what you do, but what you live by.
All right. Again, I'm Terry Crumpler. I feel I try to live every day as a vessel. Try to just, as the G said, be consistent. If I was to leave, if my life was a business card, I just wanted to be consistency. And add some type of value to the spaces that I occupy. And not just make that time, valueless or in the meantime. So I would consider that, I guess, is in one word, maybe just being a servant. And you want professional?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, and I guess professionally, I've now just began my one-on-one personal financial sessions, which is a branch off of what I do, I guess 9 to 5-ish, which really just supports what I really want to do in life. But I've been a financial advisor, consultant for, next year will be 7 years. It's kind of crazy to say that, but yeah, for 7 years. So I'm basically taking what I learned from there and actually helping people one-on-one that may not have the means to be ready to maybe invest or to do something formally, but to let them know you can do this and to have some type of foundational piece. And then, like G always tells me, get out of the lab. Like, stop planning, like actually do, and to enhance their finances and to make financial literacy something that I can bring to everyone's front door, no matter if you start with $5 or you're making $50,000 a month. So that's what I do. Also, Rebel Run, that's something that's near and dear to my heart as well, as far as being fit and just doing something that I enjoy and being with the Run family.
Hasn't missed a Monday in like 2 years since we started. He has not missed a Monday. That is ridiculous. Clap up that. Next.
Hey everybody, so my experienced some kind of trauma, whether that's sexual abuse, physical abuse, anything you can think of. But outside of that, not my 9 to 5, or like 5 to whenever I decide to go to sleep. I am the founder and owner of Healthy Pleasures, which is geared towards mental health awareness and increasing self-care, specifically in our community. I want to do it for all people, but I have a special place in my heart for our community. I did write a book, like Greg said. It's geared towards women. It's a reflective journal. It's full of letters and things that I actually wrote to myself over the last 4 years. I decided that I'm not the only person going through this. Somebody else needs to hear it, so I put it in a book. Threw in some reflective questions in there so that some other woman can have the opportunity to find what I found. Outside of that, I actually on the 1st dropped 2 self-care planners, one for men, one for women, to make self-care something that we are encouraging more and that people are making time for throughout the year. So that's it.
And we're gonna do this after. I got one question for them, and then we're gonna flip it and do a little different. This portion, because I know she does these type of sessions all the time, so we're gonna have a lot more audience engagement with this piece. But a question that I wanted to ask: what did 2018 teach you? Actually, I'm gonna do that, and then after that, I'm gonna talk about. Actually, no. Next, scratch that question first before we get there. What does holistic health mean to you, or self-care? Whichever one you want to tackle. What does it actually mean to you, personally?
I mean, I think holistic health is just all health in general. And for me, I know with Healthy Pleasures, I created it with mind, body, and soul and mind. And so for me, that's what it means. And self-care is just really prioritizing yourself. I know that we don't do it enough, and I know we don't spend time for it enough because we have all these other things going on. And we feel like that's more important than who we are, and it's not. And at the end of the day, you can have these accolades, and you can do this, you can do that, but if you're not taking care of yourself, then none of that matters because most likely you're going to drive yourself into the ground. And so that's kind of what it is for me.
I think you hit a lot of great points. And if I was just to, I don't think I can add anything to it. I feel like it's the same thing. I mean, holistic, just looking at it like as a whole, and making sure that you're filling each bucket. I know we mentioned like balance isn't realistic, but I think it's a point of making sure that each bucket is being filled, and that you're not neglecting one portion more than the other, because that's how injuries can happen, or that's how things that we're not looking forward to happening can actually happen.
And hold the mic, T. What did 2018 teach you, man? What did 2018 teach you from a personal space? I know it's like, dang, get deep like that.
No, that's what we actually opened up with. So that was the first one my mom was sharing with Brother Bass about 2018. Really, I feel like it took the lid off of kind of where I can be a servant. And what that, I summed up the year in just a few words is fear can't win. And I would allow fear to keep me comfortable. It's not like I've been down and out. I've had some very tough years when I wasn't making anything, and I was on unemployment, making food stamps. So I could kind of go back to that, but when you take a step above that and you're like, oh, I'm good, why do I need to continue to kind of level up? But it's really not for me, it's for others. And I feel like 2018, a lot of the things that I've been through is just simply fear can't win. And when you remove that fear factor, I feel like the sky's the limit. So I feel like 2019, almost everything I'm involved in, it's a call for action. It's more. It's like, all right, 2018, we see the potential. 2019, let's do it. And it actually excites me. Like, I'm not afraid to actually to do it. So.
It's funny you said that, because mine was going to be fear is not, that's one, is that fear is not an option. Because for me, Healthy Pleasure started out as a blog maybe 2-3 years ago. I did it for a little bit, quit, and just stopped, and restarted it in June of last year. And the biggest thing, especially with social media, and you trying to appease other people, and it's just like, I want to say this, or I want to do this, but how are people going to receive this? Are people going to be okay with that? And so for me, on top of learning not to be so hard on myself, because the people who love me and care for me and here right now, tell me, you're doing good. Like, why are you upset? Why are you so anxious? What are you worried about? You know how to do that. So for me, it was fear is not an option, and 2, you have to be more compassionate with yourself, because God didn't give you a vision for no reason. And if you're doing this and He gave it to you, then this is your purpose to stick with it. So that was what it was for me.
So now I want to flip it. I have our last question. We'll do it after this little segment. But for the next 15 minutes, I know Tiana, she's gonna have it, ask open questions, and I'll give it y'all a chance to kind of think and reflect on some things. But Tia, you can kind of have some questions that we talked about, and you kind of get the vibe and the energy of the room. We can share, and then what we'll pass the mic around. I'll pass it, and just to kind of get some thoughts on some of the things we want to talk about, and just lay on our brain.
So for me, it's mostly our people in here from what I can
Yeah.
see. And I know in my mind, and just from research and et cetera, what mental health means in our community and how we view it, but I would really love to see like what the thoughts are and how do you feel like what the barriers are right now for us to get to where we need to be mental health wise in our community.
And you can just raise your hand. If you can speak, actually, no, I'll pass the mic. You raise your hand, I'll pass the mic to you. Right here.
Yeah, so I actually started doing therapy sessions, mental therapy sessions for myself, but I also needed it myself to be good for my people. And I actually wanted to record the sessions like that I was doing so that I can show my clientele like, yo, like it's okay for us as Black men to be in this session pouring out our hearts to this individual. So I think for you guys to break that barrier, they have to see people doing it. Right? I think people have to be shown doing it that are in leadership positions to make it okay.
That's funny you said that because I blog too, and I actually wrote a blog about therapy, mental health. I feel like in the vulnerability, letting yourself out, right? So me writing a blog about depression and people reading it, and at first I'm like, should I, submit this? So I had people who read it first, and they're like, don't submit it, it's gonna be real vulnerable. And I said, it's gonna be what? Sin. Because you know what? Other people feel that way. Why? It's not even today. Our whole entire, our whole history is a taboo. Like, mental health is a taboo. It's go ahead and pray on that. Go ahead and pray on that, girl. Go to church, you'll be good. Like, that's not gonna fix it. Prayer without work is nothing. So it's just, I felt like making the taboo a norm, making it normal to go to therapy, making it normalizing therapy. It's not just a white thing. It's not just, first of all, people who are Medicaid, it covers like Medicaid and all that, it covers it. So I'm just use it, it's already paid for, why not? I don't have that and I have to pay a copay, but I still go. So my thing is, me actually saying that I go to therapy was scary at first because people are looking at me like I'm crazy. I go to therapy, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing's wrong with me. I mean, I'm just going to therapy. Although when you are diagnosed with something, I was diagnosed, as a child, I had to talk to my parents about it because as a child, they kept trying to chastise me and punish me with things, and I'm like, I have no control over this. A lot of our people think that we can control it. Just make it back in here, you can be all right, you can just acting crazy. I'm like, no, I really can't control this. So I feel like if we normalize it in our community, and I feel like the key thing is getting more Black therapists out there. I don't want to speak to somebody who don't look like me. Yeah. You don't understand where I'm coming from or nothing. So if we have somebody look like you, all right, let me pass this back for an hour. Next person.
But you're right though, because there is a lot of research on the fact that people are more likely to identify with a therapist that looks like them. Like when I do trauma assessments, I ask the parent and the kid, what is your preference? Well, what do you mean, what is my preference? Do you want a white therapist? Do you want a Black therapist? Do you prefer male or female? Like at the end of the day, when you go to therapy, it's for you, so it's your choice. You don't have to go to one agency and say, yeah, this is where I'm saying. If they don't work for you, they don't work for you, and that's fine. If you have to shop around until you find the right person, that's cool too. So I think that's a good thing, but I think
Yeah, I think the idea that you only go to therapy when something is wrong is something that needs to be fixed, right? So I think if we can, as a community, talk about therapy as just a normal part of your everyday life and not just something that you seek out when you're at what you feel to be your lowest, I think that'd be helpful. I think it's also helpful to understand that when you go to therapy, it's an unbiased opinion on what's going on in your life, right? Or maybe not even an opinion, an unbiased listener. And so for all of us, we go through things, but we have the amen corner or we have the naysayer corner in everything that we do. So therapy could be a way to connect with someone who just doesn't isn't a part of it. And so the more we can position therapy as a natural and normal part of every part of life, not just the lows, I think we'll have better results.
I would say that it's important to realize that putting money towards self-care is just as important as paying a bill. Like she touched on about having Medicare pay for it. Some people don't want to say put $50 towards going to see a therapist versus paying their cell phone bill. I'll honestly say I saw a therapist a few years ago and I continued going because it was covered 100% from my job. So I was like, why not? But some people, you know, you can't put that money towards it. So just finding ways to make it affordable, and like you said, especially having people like you that you can talk to.
Because in most places, if you have a job, they offer something through your health benefits, and a lot of people don't know that. Like, you can go and get it through that. Another way is a lot of places have a sliding scale, so if you can't afford it at the moment, like, you can work that out. I think one time when I went a few years ago, I went through Pfeiffer University up by the airport. I paid $12 a session. Like, and they asked me, how much can you pay? Well, don't ask me, because I'm just giving you the lowest number. Like, I mean, that's what you want to do, you can do that. But there's an option for that. So, like, it doesn't always have to cost so much, and there are ways around it.
And after Marcus, we should ask another question.
So I think this is just in addition to kind of what everybody has said. Like, I believe we should normalize it as well. I know the first time that I went to therapy was because, like, and this was in college, so this was years ago, my girlfriend was actually like, I want you to go with me to therapy. She was seeing like the on-campus, one of the on-campus therapists or whatever. And she obviously was always bringing up my name, and he was like, and it was a guy too, and he was like, I want to meet this guy, like, that you're talking about. And so, like, I went in and, you know, anxious and like, who is this man? Why do I need to go to him? I'm not crazy, like, you know, nothing is wrong with me. But she, for some reason, like, it was normal to her. She was just like, you know, and I don't know if it's something that women are just a little bit more, they are more accepting of those things. And so it was easy for her. So she was going to him like every week. Something that happened more recently, again, normalizing it, and this was like a coworker that's white. She was like, her daughter, who is now in college, is in therapy and goes to therapy sessions, and she's sharing this with me freely, you know, like, I'm like, you should keep that at home, that's personal. But she's sharing it real freely, like, yeah, my daughter's been in therapy for her anxiety since, like, she was in high school. And I was like, I don't even know nobody, you know what I'm saying, who is in any kind of therapy or going to any kind of mental health therapist or anything when they were in high school or kids, you know, because it's always the amen corner or, oh, go pray it off or all these, you know, all these things. And so I think just normalizing it and just also, you know, seeing people who look like you and normalizing it at a younger age, you know. So, I mean, we go through a lot as black people, as brown people anyway. We see a lot in our communities. And so, like, we need therapy probably more than most other people, you know, but we push it away and we use other things to, like, kind of cope with those different, you know, stresses or whatnot. So I think starting at a younger age too and seeing those people in the therapy sessions all helps.
Can I, real quick. Sorry. When you said that, like, women usually don't do it, that's the thing. If we're the ones that usually do it, we mostly raise our children. So we raise our boys. So we have to be the ones that put it in install our sons that they can go to therapy, and when they fall, they can cry. So I feel like a lot of it is, yeah, we're the ones that do it, but we should put it on our sons so they can grow up and be men. They can go in high school and stuff like that.
Childhood trauma is real. And you cannot address a lot of stuff and grow up and be an adult. It's not very functional. And the truth is, we deal with a lot of stuff, period. And I think I heard you say, I'm not crazy. Like, I think a lot of people associate mental health with being crazy. You're not crazy. We're all human. We all have a mind of our own. And sometimes that mind can be stronger than what we are. So that brings up my next question, is like, what do you feel like diagnosis-wise or mental health-wise that we struggle with the most within our community?
I would say the fear of being misdiagnosed. Because when you're misdiagnosed, not only do you have one label that you may actually have, legit, but then you have another label that you don't have, and that label follows you forever. No matter what doctor's office, no matter whatever you want to do in life, if they pull your mental history, that comes up, and that may be something that you really don't have. That's a real fear.
Yeah. When I was in grad school, we had to take a class where they taught us the DSM, which is just the diagnostic book that we use to give out diagnosis. And I told my professor, I don't want to do this part of the job. And she was like, why not? I said, because I don't want to label people. Like, yeah, and this is as a therapist, yes, we have the book to say what certain things is, but I still, as a therapist, struggle with it a lot. Like, yeah, that may be what it technically is labeled, but I don't want people to feel like that's what they have to carry. And I think with mental health, that is the issue, is you may get misdiagnosed. Like for kids, and I learned this when I started getting certified as a trauma therapist, a lot of ADHD symptoms are actually trauma symptoms. And people try to medicate the ADHD and you're not fixing the problem, because that's not the issue. So kids running around zombified on all types of medication that's not helping them, because at the end of the day, that's not what it is. And so I think that's a good point.
I love that you just said that, but another one is acceptance. I think sometimes when people are diagnosed and they don't want to believe it, or if it's your child, for instance, you don't want to believe that. So sometimes they don't get the help that they need because of their parents. That's right.
I don't really have a question, I just have more so a comment to throw out there. 2018 was the first year that I myself went to therapy. It's been amazing. I found the right therapist, one that looks like me, one that's around my age, one that's HBCU educated, so she understands my lingo.
Right.
She's just as passionate as you are about our community being more open and acceptance of going to therapy. I had to search near far for her.
Yeah.
The Black therapists in this community really need to band together and create these resources and these places for people to find the right people. I think that's a big problem. We're not able to find you guys sometimes. So, like I said, I don't have the answers. I don't work in therapy, but I know that there are Black therapists out here, and I think it's gonna take you guys banding together to push out for our community.
If you go, before I forget, if you go on psychologytoday.com, they have a full directory where you can search, you can look at people's pictures, what they look like, what their background, what their specialty is, where they went to school, all that stuff, and just kind of weed through it that way, because it's nice to know who you're going to be looking at before you go looking them in the face.
Can you rephrase your question just one more time so I'm making sure I'm answering this properly?
My original question was, as far as mental health and diagnoses, what do you feel like is the things that we struggle with the most in relation to that? And that can be diagnosis-wise, that can just be the thought process around mental health, etc.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. So a lot of us go through things, especially being young, and we don't know how to deal with them. We want to hide it from the world, so we suppress everything. I know personally. I watched my dad die, so he had multiple strokes, and it bothered me to the point I was helping taking care of him. I was 15 years old, and I had to help lift him up, take him to the bathroom, do certain things that as a kid, like, you're not supposed to do.
Right.
So with that being said, I haven't necessarily worked out all of my issues either, and the simple fact that I can't find a therapist, that I can relate to, or I don't have enough money at this current moment to go seek that help, even though I want to. My entire childhood, I've lost a lot of my memories. I can't really remember a lot of things, and that is post-traumatic stress. Like you have to be aware, like, okay, this is what happened to me. I suppressed it, and now I have to figure out how to deal with it from here. But, not letting it stop you from, having the successes in your life, but just figuring out a way on how to deal with it. But, just identifying what your problem is probably like the toughest part, but it has to be done.
Right, self-awareness is key, and I'm glad you brought up PTSD, because that's what I do a lot of with the kids that I work with. And like, trauma will literally trick your body into like, you can completely forget things that you know happened. Like you can forget every single detail, and that's your body's way of protecting itself. Or you can, and not even just trauma as a child, like maybe 3 years ago, I hydroplaned on 540 straight across the thing. I just knew I was gonna die. That was it, like straight through. And I was like, all right, God, this is it. And I just took my hands off the wheel. Me driving for a long time was a scary. I'm the person on the side of the road going 25 miles an hour, got my blinkers on. If you bang your head, don't worry about me because I'm shaking in the car trying to drive, but I still have to drive. And that's what trauma does to you. And so being aware and acknowledging the fact that you went through something and it's okay that you went through that thing, but now you have to address that thing because otherwise this is going to be you for the rest of your life.
So I'm glad you asked that question because I never even thought of that question pertaining to our people. I too am a therapist, and when I think about the different diagnoses that we see, I would say depression. And one of the reasons why I say that is because depression can be seen as anger turned inward. And so when we don't get an opportunity to be able to give back what people throw on us, and we suppress those things, we begin to experience the symptoms associated with depression: helplessness, hopelessness, lack of go back into the days of slavery and you know, seeing our brothers killed on TV or right in front of us. I mean, these are things that we suppress, and as a result of that, if we don't talk about those things, it's going to weigh us down and blind us. So I would say depression.
Not even that, because just the nature of how we were brought here. We have been taught, and this is not to judge anyone because parents raise us most times the ways that they were raised. And so things are passed on generation to generation. And so we've been taught to be strong for so long that we stay there. You're like, well, I'm dealing with this. No, you fine in school. Shake off, you having a bad day, it'll be all right, but no, like for real, I'm struggling right now, what am I supposed to do? And so I know for me, one thing I talk about the most is your tribe is the most important thing when it comes to mental health, because you have to have people in your corner that are willing to say, okay, you're going through this, but what do you need? Okay, I see that this is a little different for you. You didn't used to be like this, all of a sudden now you're this way, what's going on? Like you need those people in your corner because if you stick to yourself and get in your head, which is the other thing I think we do a lot, which is anxiety, it's over. Because your mind will wrap around. I know for me, even as a therapist, anxiety is a beast. Like I can take one thought, and now I'm 17 years down the road with something that does not even exist. Like, how did you even get there? So where'd that come from? Active imagination. This is what I mean by like your mind is so strong. If you don't become more aware of it, more aware of the things that you deal with, more open to recognizing that all the time things aren't going to be okay, and that's okay. You can still do something about it. So that's one of the other things for me.
I was actually going to touch on that as far as family and family history. I think it's hard and scary during the mental health process. I've been through therapy myself, knowing you'll have to address your parents, your grandparents, your upbringing, and you may have to not only hold yourself accountable, but all of a sudden you have to hold your heroes accountable. And we're definitely a culture of what happens in the house stays in the house. What happens in the family stays in the family. All of a sudden you're lifting up all the rugs and you're like looking at you like, no, you just right. So I think that's probably for me that was a big part of the process of I have to commit to whatever is coming out, you know, deal with it. It makes you a better person. It makes you a more hopeful person. You're
I know my man's right here, but right here.
One thing I will say is that within our community, the problem is due diligence. We get a diagnosis and we stick with it and we think that's the last word. That's also why I am an advocate for studying and studying to show yourself approved. So you have to, even if you get a diagnosis, and I'm saying this from experience. My daughter was diagnosed with oppositional defiance. And so what I did was I got in a research mode. Like, you're not gonna just tell me my child has oppositional defiance without me understanding what it is. And after I went through the processes of reading and researching, I realized, yes, these are things that she identifies with, and it helped me as a parent be able to curtail that behavior. So a lot of times the problem is we get this label, and the label is heavier than the solution. And we let it sit there and we let it linger. And we tell people, oh, I have this and I have this. And it starts to build bricks. And so the bricks weigh heavy on us, and we start to wear that label for the rest of our lives. And have to do is research. We have to figure out what they're saying, and does that directly identify with you? And this is why second opinion is so important. And not only that, prayer. Okay? Fasting and prayer. I am a minister, so I have to fast and pray.
So what I'm gonna say, I'll be real quick though. I'm pretty loud. To me, what we struggle with is self, being who we are. I think that, and I used to work in the school, so I used to work around a lot of kids. And I used to work with a lot of kids, and I used to tell them, I said, nobody can beat you at your own game. They used to say, well, I said, nobody can beat you at being you. So be yourself. I said, when you can be yourself, you don't have to validate yourself to nobody at no time, because they learn that I have to do what I'm not really taught or trained to do. Not trained is a bad word, but what my parents teach me for me to have friends. And I said, you don't have to do that. You are who you are. And you are the best person to show people that I don't have to conform to your ways or your ways to be who I am. Because I am me. So I tell them, nobody can be at your own game. So be yourself.
As we begin to close out this segment, I know T, you had a question you wanted to pose, and then we're gonna wrap this one up.
Correct. Can you talk at all about, like, how you deal with people who have mental health issues or mental health challenges?
She'll answer that, and then T got.
Well, no, I'm just wondering if that's part of the, I just didn't want us to leave.
I would throw it to there.
That is a loaded question. I would say that, and I think you can have a whole conversation on that alone. But the biggest thing I would say is to be compassionate and to be understanding. Because you have to think about individually when you deal with certain stuff, the toll that takes on you. And there are certain things, mental health wise, that you may or may not have control over. Anxiety being one thing, like you can cope with it, but sometimes it can really take you to a place where you're not able to function. Depression too, same way, it's debilitating. You can lay in the bed for days with depression. So I think the biggest thing is, one, being compassionate and understanding, but two, also protecting yourself, because we do have to put up certain boundaries. Me being an empath, like, I feed off the energy of other people, so I have to at some point say, like, I can't deal with this today. The thing that I saw, I think I posted this on my page probably a few weeks ago, and something that me and my friends and my family have started doing is asking people permission. Can you deal with this today? Like, we've been all the time, but today, do you have the capacity to deal with this? Because some days people text me like, not today. People pissing me off at work. I can't deal with that today. And so I think being compassionate, being understanding, and also setting those boundaries, but being there for them when they're opening up to come to you, because it's hard for people to admit that they're struggling. Like, we all want to put on this face and act like we're this person and everything's great and everything's okay, but sometimes everything isn't. And when you get the strength to go and tell somebody that, that's a hard thing to do. Don't belittle them or make them or brush them off or minimize, like it's not a big deal, because it may not be for you, but for them it's a whole nother world. And so that would be my thing to kind of help.
And before T goes, I will put her on the spot.
But I know we already got lined up Saturday in March, and I know Precious, she'll say a few words at the end, but Saturday in March we are going to host a specific event. I won't talk to you after, but a specific event solely based on that. I'm just going to like help promote it. I'm not going to be involved with it. I'm going to let the people do what they do. But I definitely think it's a wider conversation to be had, more specific. It won't be in this setting, but it'll be in a better setting. And we'll talk about specifics of it. But I definitely think it's necessary. You already do it, but I just want to help E.A. Glow and some others, because we have some talented therapists in the area, and people that are in this space. And I know she's doing some great things. I know some other people. I know my godmom is doing some great things, and others. And I know me as a conduit, like I can put people together. I definitely want to shed some wider light on that. Not to say I need to, but it's like, yo, I think it's personal, and I really feel it. So, T, I want us to close this out with just something that the crowd can resonate with, but also too can talk. So, if you have a question you want to ask.
Yeah, so it's a very, very heavy topic to kind of follow up and try to segue, but I'm going to do my best to do that. So oftentimes when it comes to finance, in that finance space, I'll get a client, and then when you close the door, you don't know where that conversation's going. And I mean, it can go from everywhere, where from someone recently is dealing with divorce, a loved one just maybe passed away, and how we're gonna handle their affairs from here on out. It could be, I just got my first job, something super exciting to anywhere, so I feel like I had to almost play therapist to this, because they can be talking about cheating on them. I mean, anything, like literally it can go anywhere. But what I want to also, I guess, try to segue is, oftentimes we forget that where our treasure is, our heart lies there also. And how often do we really look at our financial picture as far as where our dreams are aligned? A lot of people, when they're into getting income, they'll think, I just get more. How can I make more? How can I make more? Not realizing that money will never end. And if your goal is just to make money and make more and more and more, you're gonna end up almost being depressed in a way, because I've got clients that make $50,000 a month and they're still not fulfilled. So you have to find what your purpose is for your budget, and that's one of the things that I do. I sit down in our one-on-one sessions, and we look at, okay, what is your goals? Before we talk any numbers, what is your goals? Because we have to put some type of purpose in this plan. There's several gurus and experts out there in finance, because money, there's so many different ways to get where you want to go. But we have to create a plan that's going to be specific to your goals, so that you feel fulfilled. Once you start hitting these steps, you're like, oh yes, I knocked out this goal, I knocked out this step, and you'll see that list start to dwindle down, and you'll feel that power come back towards you as far as on that financial piece. So I guess it doesn't have to be a question that the mic's passed around with.
But I got it. But one thing I do want to add to ask that question, because we just spoke on, it's really trendy right now to talk about mental health, to be honest. It's really trendy, right? But it's not trendy to have these conversations about finances. Openly with our friends, and openly, like, I'll be honest, I wouldn't even for the longest, I wouldn't even go to the bank and like ask them. I didn't even like really going to the teller, I didn't tell them my balance. So I'll be like, hey, seriously, like, I'm cashing checks, I'm like, oh, this speak to the dude, she may go there, and especially if I knew somebody to tell, I'm like, I can't go, and it's like, you sit there, and you think like, hold up, all right, when they call them, how can I get away from it? Because then you're gonna go, and they gonna look, hey, Mr. GregEHill, the coach change agent. Single digit? What is how we working? You cash this check out, brother? You may want to put it back, and you just really weird. I'm like, y'all sitting there, I'm like, yo. But we have to, just like mental health, we have to have these conversations with people we trust, with certified professionals in this finance. So a question I can have, and we can end on this question is, what is the stigma behind finances? And then for those that are in this space, yeah, what is the stigma behind finance in this community? Are you already sure?
I mean, I could go all day about this. I think that within the Black community, we have to stop thinking that we can't talk about money with people who look like us, right? Like, with our peers, with like, I want all my friends to win, and I want to talk about how we get there, right? So I think that talking about budgets, I think talking about how you're saving in your 401k if you're a corporate person, and if you're not, then what are you doing for retirement? I think having those conversations openly is really important. I think from a legacy perspective, it's important to talk to your parents and your grandparents about what they're doing. They may say, to hell with you, I'm spending it all before I go, but at least have that conversation. It's important to talk about, credit card debt. It's important to talk about all these things, because, y'all, the majority of people do it every day. So if we want a piece of what they have, we have to start having the same conversations. It's really important to save money. When you talk about there being a lot of resources online about all these different ways, talk to somebody. Whether you have 1 month in savings, or you have 3 months or 6 months, do you have enough money to cover all of your deductibles? Those are things that you should be talking about with your friends, and take that into consideration when you're planning your turn up. Can I afford these drinks tonight, or should I be saving this money? But we don't talk about it enough, and it's so taboo. But you about not wanting to be seen by the teller, that teller don't know if you got all your money in that bank, or you put your money at Wells Fargo too. So don't be worried about what people think. I had to tell a look at my balance and say, oh, what kind of job you got? Girl, you kind of got a lot of bills, so get out of my business, right?
Knowledge is power, and I think a lot of the times we don't know the questions to ask, because most times the people around us don't know. Everyday people don't know this stuff. Like, when I started my new job, they started asking me questions. I'm like, know what this is. Like, I don't know the financial piece of it. So I think knowing what to ask or knowing who to go to, and if you don't know, I'll probably hit you up, to be honest now. But before that, if you don't know who to go to, then you don't know what to do. You just figure it out on your own. Well, this month, this is what I'm gonna do for this, and this month, okay, well, now we're gonna figure this out. So I think knowing where to go and who to talk to is important too.
Oh, no, I wanted to answer what Terry was saying, how he was saying, what's your financial goal? And when he said that, like, he asked me that a while ago, like a couple days ago. And I actually didn't think of the answer to just now because I feared it. Like, it was a fear of you know, what is my goal? Like, cause like you said, I don't understand. I'm not gonna be honest, I don't understand half of the things y'all talk about. Like, when financially they be saying things to me, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't coach. Honestly, that's not my thing. I'm a social worker. Finances, you hire somebody else to do that. But we have to, as adults, we have to learn it regardless. It's something we have to learn. So that's a fear. And a lot of times we fear of actually really knowing how much we make and how much we over our means. Once I put down all my money down, like what I make and how much I spend, I literally want to cry and like rip it up and say, I'm gonna look at this again because I like the way I'm living, because I don't know that I'm living over my means and I'm living check to check, but I don't feel that way. But once you budget your life, and you know you can't go and buy them shoes you want and stuff like that, it's a fear. It's a fear of, I've done it, I budget about 6 times and I keep stopping because I'm like, I want to buy those shoes because I don't know, because I'm tired of being poor. Like, I don't want all my money to go to bills, but that's just maturing and becoming an adult.
Hi. One of the things that she was saying about, like, or she mentioned the word, like, budget, I think a lot of times, especially with our age group and in our community, we allow the word budget to tell us what we can't do, rather than being something that we use to plan for what we want to do or what we can do in the future. And I'm like her, like, well, actually, this one right here, she has budgets for budgets for budgets. She takes lists. And I think that's something like that we have to do, or that she's helping me do with when I have my budgets. In the back of my head, I'm always thinking, okay, yes, I want these shoes, but I really want to go on that trip even more. So maybe I can, a balance. And I know you're saying, like, in life there's not always a balance, but there is in some things when it comes to budgeting, and that's a really big one.
All right, cool. We got boom, boom, and then we got 4, and then we'll wrap it up for this one.
So when we talk about the roadblocks as it relates to money, I want to touch on it from a little bit of a different angle, and this is as it relates to money mindset. So I know oftentimes in order to manifest whatever it is that you want in your life, you have to believe that you're worth it. And I think oftentimes we don't cast our net far enough, or we kind of operate from this lack perspective, especially as Black people, because majority Black people in this country are poor or have been poor or have experienced some sort of destituteness or whatever. And so oftentimes growing up in those situations and environments, you hold on to a lot, and then it creates like this fear around money. Like, I know in my family, it was like, don't touch that, we can't afford that, or like different things like that. And I think that creates a whole mindset around which you may feel that you can have and which you feel that you're worth. And so I think it's important to really start expanding our mind around money. Of course, strategically planning and budgeting, but even like one thing I've been saying myself lately is that, you know, I'm going to be a multi-million-dollar business owner. And not for myself, because I know that the vision that God gave me, I can't even accomplish it without that. Like, it's so big that I need multiple $1 million to be able to really serve at the level that my heart's intention is. And so it's like creating, you know, everything, I'll get into that anyways. I'm talking about mindset a little bit, so I ain't gonna go too deep. But yeah, I think money mindset is important, and you have to really believe, to really like even create space and be able to see opportunities to get more money. You have to first create the space in your mind that you can actually have it, or that you're even worth it, you know. So.
Yeah, that's definitely the big topic of money there. People fear what they don't understand and hate what they can't conquer, and sometimes they'll shelve it away for another day.
Yeah.
piggybacking on Ms. McDougal, your comment about, oh, why don't we share it with one another? I think for many people, trust is a big issue, and trusting on who you can share your information with, because sometimes in the moment when you're sharing, you all have the common goal of, okay, we're trying to uplift each other, but then you have those other moments where they can be mad at you about something else, or they'll go and share with someone else that you don't want them to share with. And so I think trust is a major issue, especially among our community. I think we see it played out on reality TV, all kinds of different mediums.
And like I said, they'll be around, and people that are talking, they're gonna be around, some of them, because I know people have time commitments, but they'll be around at the end when the music going, so feel free to keep that energy, keep those questions, etc. Yes?
I'll just quickly say that I agree with what you were saying, sorry about that. Precious. I think that there's a good amount of Black people who are workers. When I say workers, like my parents were factory workers, and they worked in Thomasville Furniture Factory and Smurfett Stone, and they're used to that hourly pay, and you had to work for what you wanted to get. And so, you know, when I come home with ideas of passive income, investments, and properties, it's like a foreign language almost. And so I think education is key, and then using opportunities like this and opportunities like I have a financial advisor, taking what I learned from them back home as well to educate my cousins that are younger, they're coming up, and my parents as well, and my grandparents, etc. That is really important, something I felt like I lacked, and kind of starting all over again at 25 and how to be really responsible with my finances.
I'm gonna close. I got. What I want to do right now, first and foremost, like this, it's been a phenomenal night. I'm glad that we were able to kind of end on this piece. But the questions don't stop from here. There's a lot of, we didn't have time to really jam pack and flesh out the answers. But like I said, this is just the beginning. And let us, and hopefully some things, some nuggets that were shared. One, follow up with these people, reach out and talk to them. And I would definitely be sending out an email with contacts and some more context with it. So first and foremost, I want to give them a round of applause. Information gonna be in the email and all that good stuff with books, all that good stuff. I appreciate your support. Love y'all. Take pictures, support T, support anybody got the book. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.